I've been fascinated by myths in the Animal Crossing community for as long as I can remember. Even back in the days of Animal Crossing New Leaf and before that, myths run rampant amongst the community. I mean, we've all heard the myths about Zipper being our dad, right? But in New Horizons, there's been more than ever, and it shocks me just how many of these myths are still shared around and believed by players to this very day. So I decided to ask my subscribers what myths they wanted to see debunked, and you came back with some really great ones. So in this video we'll be busting 10 myths for Animal Crossing New Horizons. Let's do this. To start us off, leaving holes around your island will upset villagers and lower your island rating. Thanks to Eterna Midnight for sharing this one, and yes, this is completely a myth. There are no negative consequences for having holes around your island because they'll simply go away when you stop playing. The holes aren't really a permanent thing, although I can understand why a lot of players, especially newer ones, might expect them to be. I feel like generally people just don't like having the holes around their island anyways, but you can quickly and easily just kick these back in, so they're not really a problem in any way at all. And Blathers will probably be very grateful that you've gone around and dug up some fossils for him. Next, praising Orville at the airport will get you a better and rarer Nook Mile Island. So this is completely false, and it's probably one of the most commonly shared Animal Crossing New Horizons myths. I was looking for a post on an Animal Crossing group where people were sharing tips and tricks about the game, and this one came up so much, and a lot of people believed it. But clapping for Orville or even Wilbur will have absolutely no effect whatsoever on what Mystery Island you get. It's just random as far as I know. Mystery Islands seem to have their own percentage chances of how often they will appear. Orville unfortunately isn't the one in control of you getting to a special island, although it certainly would be very cool if this was actually a hidden feature, maybe something they could add to a future game just as a little Easter egg. But yeah, it doesn't do anything in Animal Crossing New Horizons, so I wouldn't waste your time doing it. Jonathan says, hitting your villagers with nets makes them want to leave your island. Now, this is a myth that has been in Animal Crossing since the very start, that if you're really mean to your villagers, they're gonna want to leave faster. And I can't say how it works for every different Animal Crossing game, but as far as I know, in Animal Crossing New Horizons, all this will do is actually lower your friendship with a particular villager. And if you do that, believe it or not, it actually makes them even less likely to want to leave your island. It seems like villagers you have a low friendship rating with will actually want to stick around even more than your besties. So by being mean to your villager and hitting them with a net, putting them in pitfalls and such, you're actually making them want to stick around even more, so I definitely wouldn't do this. It seems like the best way to get rid of villagers is honestly just to treat them like normal, treat them like a villager you'd actually want to stay around, and then they'll probably want to leave. It's kind of like some form of weird Animal Crossing reverse psychology. Next, a very prevalent one throughout the history of Animal Crossing, that Tom Nook is evil. So this myth isn't really gameplay related in the sense of it's not a mechanic or something like that, but yes, a lot of people do think that Tom Nook is an evil character and it's something that has been spread around the Animal Crossing community, but this really couldn't be further from the truth. Honestly, Tom Nook is really nice. Now this is a subjective thing, maybe you don't like the fact that he can be a bit brash sometimes, and you know, he's getting lots of money from us, so I understand why people feel a bit frustrated with him. But at the end of the day, Tom Nook is giving you a home. He's the one who is setting this all up, and he's giving you a mortgage with no interest rate, which is basically just unheard of. Not to mention that there's dialogue in past Animal Crossing games that suggests he actually donates his earnings towards orphanages. And then he also uses some of his other earnings to better the town and islands that he lives on. Tom Nook is a really community-orientated animal. He's great, honestly. I have no complaints about him, and I definitely don't think he's evil whatsoever. I really hope this is one of those myths that dies with future Animal Crossing games because they've just made him nicer and nicer with every entry. Next, lawnmowers mow over weeds and flowers. So this is not true at all. Once again, this is completely false. Lawnmowers are just a decorative item in the game. They have absolutely no functional purpose. I can understand why people would think this once again though. It would be cool if it actually did do this. It'd be a really great way of easily getting rid of a ton of flowers and weeds when they take over your island. But sadly, nope, this item doesn't have any mechanical use. It's literally just for decoration, which sadly is the case for most items in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Next, the way you answer the "if you could bring anything to a deserted island, what would it be" question determines your airport color. For a long time, this question that they ask you at the very start of the game was a confusing one to me. I didn't know what it actually determined. I thought it had to determine something. But nope, it seems like this question is absolutely meaningless. I mean, I guess it has meaning in the sense of it's just a fun little bit of flavor text, but it doesn't really seem to do anything. It doesn't change your airport color or the positioning of anything on your map. It doesn't give you any special items as far as I know. So yeah, you really don't have to worry about how you answer this question, it seems. It's just there for a fun bit of dialogue for them to ask you a question when you're first starting up the game. Once again though, I can definitely understand why people would think this meant something. I thought so myself, I just wasn't sure what it actually meant. Moving on, that yellow balloons are more likely to give you money. So this is honestly kind of a complicated one, and I'm sure a whole video could be dedicated towards this, but there is actually some truth in this honestly. If you check this information from Nookipedia, which I consider to be a very reliable source, and I did check this in some other pages around the internet too, they say balloons can now be multiple colors: red, yellow, green, and blue. These balloon presents can contain DIY crafting recipes, bells, furniture, clothing, or crafting materials, such as clay, wood, or iron nuggets. While all 4 colors can drop furniture, clothing, or DIYs, only blue can drop crafting materials, and only yellow can drop bells. So yes, only yellow balloons seemingly will drop those bells for you. However, it does seem like you can get other types of items from yellow balloons as well, you just have a better chance of getting bells. I've heard so many conflicting answers on this one honestly, but I do believe what Nookipedia is saying here, especially as it has been said in other places too. Next, that playing the Ocarina yields better results for fishing. I personally never heard this one myself, but yes, once again, this doesn't do anything. The Ocarina is just a cool and fun little item. It would have made sense if it could have been used as some sort of functional tool, as it kind of acts like one, but yeah, it doesn't really do anything. I do honestly get the vibe though that it's just a nice little reference in a subtle way to the Legend of Zelda series, which I think is really cool. Moving on, placing a gold rose next to a money tree guarantees 99k bells. Like the comment says, this rumor is just not true. It doesn't have any effect whatsoever. Gold roses in Animal Crossing are honestly really cool and a super desirable item, but as far as I'm aware, they don't really do anything special. The heads of them certainly could be a good gift for your villagers, I believe. That would be a good idea, and they do sell for quite a decent amount of bells too, but in terms of a functional, secret purpose like this, giving you more bells on the bell tree, nope, it has nothing to do with it. Finally, putting out a villager's campfire on a mystery island makes them not come again. So yeah, once more, this doesn't have any effect whatsoever. The campfires are just there as a decorative thing. The villagers of course are camping out on these mystery islands, and it helps illuminate them more at nighttime as well. I really do like the creative thought behind this one though. I think it would have been actually cool if this was a secret little detail like a lot of the things on this list. But there's absolutely no evidence to suggest that this has any sort of effect. You're sadly just gonna have to get very lucky finding that perfect mystery island villager that you've been looking for with those hundreds and hundreds of Nook Mile tickets. I'm sorry. So yeah, that was 10 myths debunked in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Honestly, I loved all of these myths. I think they're super creative. Of course, it's never a good thing when false information gets spread around, but who knows, maybe in the future some of these myths could actually inspire Nintendo to turn them into features in the game. I think that could be a cool idea for some of these. But let me know any myths in Animal Crossing that you think need to be debunked, not even just for Animal Crossing New Horizons, but for the series in general. If you made it to the end, be sure to comment Bob's Gang down below so I know you did. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on channel notifications for more.